Well, gather round, folks, it's a brand new day. Shady V is here to light the way. For storytelling and sharing, that's what we do. With every review and interview too. Oh, the Shady V Experience. Come on in and stay. Good times and good tales will brighten your day.
Welcome to the Shady V Experience, where every story has a voice, every voice has a story, and every product gets a fair shake. The Ghosts of Austin, the ones that made it. This is a nice palate cleanser after the 3 episodes of Loss. Schultz's Beer Garden, Dirty Martins, Matt's El Rancho, and a run of smaller survivors like Texas Chili Parlor, Quality Seafood, and Top Notch. 3 episodes in a row, I've been walking you through a graveyard. Burger joints, delis, diners. It's been a lot of loss, and I think we've both earned a break. So today's different. Today, I want to tell you about the ones that didn't close. The restaurants that have been standing in this city so long, they've outlasted the mayors who ate in them, the wars fought overseas, and at least 2 different versions of what Old Austin even means. These are the survivors. Let's go eat something that's been on the menu since before your grandparents were born. The oldest business in Texas. If you want to start anywhere, you start at Schultz's Garden. It opened in 1866, just after the Civil War ended, which doesn't just make it the oldest restaurant in Austin, it's the oldest continuously operating business of any kind in the entire state of Texas. It also claims the title of oldest functioning beer garden in the United States, which feels almost unfair. Like Austin got a 200-year head start on a category nobody else was competing in. I went to Schultz's for the first time as a kid before a UT football game, and it felt less like a restaurant and more like a piece of weather. Something that had just always been there, the way the Capitol Dome had always been there. Schnitzel, pitchers of beer, picnic tables under old trees, decades of political deals quietly made and unmade at those same tables. It's still standing on the edge of campus today, 160 years in. Closer to the Dell Medical School now than it ever was. And somehow, it still feels exactly like it should. Dirty floors, clean record. A few blocks up the drag, there's a burger stand that's been serving the same corner since 1926. It opened as Martin's Comeback, and it was about as bare bones as a restaurant could get. 8 bar stools, and true to its future nickname, actual dirt floors. When they finally poured concrete foundation in the 1950s, regulars had already been calling it Dirty's for years out of affection. And the name stuck so hard, the owners just gave in and made it official. Dirty Martin's Place. Here's the part of the story I love. A few years back, Austin's new light rail system, Project Connect, was originally routed straight through the Dirty Martin's property. An entire 100-year-old burger joint nearly erased by a train line. But the route got changed, and Dirty's got to stay exactly where it's always been, on Guadalupe Street, one of the last true dive-in era buildings left near campus, still frying the same hand-cut fries. Not every old Austin restaurant survives by being untouchable. Sometimes it survives because, at the last minute, the city decided to build around it instead of through it. The king of Mexican food. Matt's El Rancho started on Cesar Chavez Street, on the exact spot where the Four Seasons Hotel sits today before moving to its current home on South Lamar back in 1986. Matt and Janie Martínez built it into what a lot of longtime Austinites still call the king of Mexican food, and it's credited with a genuine list of firsts. First lime margaritas, first Mexican seafood on a Tex-Mex menu, and the famous Bob Armstrong dip, named after a local politician who apparently ordered his queso with guac, taco meat, and sour cream so often, they just put it on the menu with his name on it. Matt and Janie are both gone now, and so is Bob Armstrong, but the restaurant is still family-run by the Martínez children, which means the dip named after a regular's order is still being made by the grandchildren of the people who invented it for him in the first place. That's a strange, wonderful kind of immortality, outliving the man, keeping the order. The small ones that never left. Not every survivor is a landmark with a plaque. Some of them are just quietly, stubbornly still there. Joe's on the east side has been serving breakfast tacos since 1962. Crispy bacon and chorizo, the kind of tacos people build their whole Saturday morning around. Texas Chili Parlor's been dishing out bowls of dangerously hot chili since 1976. A no-frills dive bar with a habanero spiked version locals just call the Triple X, with the mixture of pride and fear. Quality Seafood has connected this landlocked city to the Gulf Coast since 1938. A literal fish market with a grill attached. Blackened redfish and fried shrimp sold just a few feet from the ice case. And out north, Top Notch has been running as an honest-to-goodness drive-in since 1971. Charcoal grilled burgers, car hops, the whole vintage picture. It even showed up as a backdrop in Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused, which feels appropriate, since Linklater's entire career is basically one long love letter to this version of Austin. None of these places are trying to be a museum piece. They're just restaurants that happen to keep doing the thing they were good at for so long that the doing of it became its own kind of history. Why these made it? So what's the difference? Why did Schultz's Garden survive 160 years while Threadgill's right up the road didn't make it to 50? I don't think there's one clean answer, but there is a pattern. A lot of these survivors own their real estate outright instead of renting it, which means they're not at the mercy of a landlord's decision the way Naw's Enfield Drug was. A lot of them stayed in the same family for generations, which meant there was always somebody with a personal reason to keep the lights on, the way there was for the Martínez family at Matt's. And a few of them, like Dirty Martin's, just got lucky at exactly the right moment, when a city planner somewhere decided to move a train line 6 feet to the left. Mostly, though, I think it comes down to something less measurable. These places found a way to stay exactly themselves while the city around them changed completely. Schultz's isn't trying to be a trendy beer garden. Dirty's isn't trying to be an artisanal burger concept. They just kept doing the same thing at the same address long enough that eventually the rest of the city grew up around them instead of paving over them. I think that's the real reason this episode felt so different to write. The last 3 were about grief, about places we lost and can only describe secondhand. This one's an invitation. Every restaurant on this list you can still walk into tonight. Order the schnitzel. Get the dirty fries. Ask for the Bob Armstrong and think, just for a second, about the guy they named it after. This has been Ghosts of Austin, the ones that made it. If you've got a favorite old Austin spot that's still standing, go, place that order. And the day of the first UT home football game, I'll be at Schultz's at one of those picnic tables if you want to join me. That's a wrap on another episode of the Shady V Experience. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, leave a review and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your support helps this community continue to grow. Keep the conversation going by following the Shady V Experience on social media, and don't be afraid to join in. We love hearing your thoughts, stories, and ideas. Until next time, keep it shady, but always keep it real.